Australia had swept all before them en route to the wheelchair rugby final and were hot favourites against Canada, who'd produced the shock of the tournament by knocking out the reigning champions USA in the semi-finals. The Aussies lived up to their status, scoring within seconds of the start through Riley Batt, who went on to get 11 goals, matching the entire total registered by the Canadians in the first quarter. More one-way traffic in the second as the awesome Australians powered on with Batt in unstoppable form. They led 34-21 at the halfway mark. Try as they might, Canada was simply no match for the mighty Aussies, and by the third quarter it was already a case of damage limitation, scores few and far between. And the inevitable conclusion saw Australia wrap up the match all too easily. Trevor Hirschfield among the scorers as they triumphed in a high-scoring final 66-51, with Batt contributing 37 goals. After finishing as runners-up in both Sydney and Beijing, Australia finally claimed the gold medal they so desperately craved and were worthy winners. Canada will be delighted to have won the silver. USA, the winners 4 years ago, had to settle for bronze this time. Iran and Brazil met for the bronze medal in the seven-a-side football.
The medal match of the football seven-a-side tournament.
And it was to be a surprisingly one-sided affair, which the Iranians dominated from start to finish. They went ahead in the 17th minute when Rasul Atashafruz cut in from wide to score a superb opener. And the lead was doubled just 3 minutes later when Farzad Meri scored in equally impressive fashion with this blistering shot. By half-time, Iran led by 3-0. Atashafruz claiming his second of the game, poaching from close range. Surely no way back for the Brazilians. In fact, it got worse for them as the onslaught continued in the second half, with Brazil bamboozled. Yacem Bakçki made it 4-0 with 57 minutes played, finishing off a fine move, which was helped by some poor Brazilian defending. And they ended the game in style as Meri produced a really clever finish for his second goal and Iran's fifth in stoppage time to thoroughly underline their dominance. A well-deserved bronze medal for them. The gold medal match saw Eastern European rivals Russia and Ukraine meet in a crunch decider, which was a repeat of the final in Beijing 4 years ago, in which the Ukrainians won their second successive gold. The Russians took a 100% record into the match and dominated the first half. Ivan Patekin setting up Zaurab Pagayev for a chance, but he fired wide. Then Alexander Kuligin saw a free kick, well saved by Konstantin Simashko. And Kuligin also fired just wide after a good run. It was 0-0 at half-time, but Ukraine improved in the second period. Anatoly Shevchik coming closest with a shot just too high. But Russia were the better side overall and got the winner in the 44th minute when Pagayev flicked on a long ball and Eduard Ramonov burst through to finish clinically. Ukraine might have sent the game into extra time, but skipper Volodymyr Antonyuk saw his effort kept out by Vladislav Raretki, and Russia held on to gain revenge for Beijing and land their first Paralympics title since Sydney in 2000. It was a deserved win since they won every game in the tournament. Ukraine were second best this time, with Iran third.
In the men's T54 marathon, David Weir of Great Britain was aiming to win a fourth gold medal at these Paralympics. He'd already won the 800 metres, the 1500 and the 5000 metres on the track in the Olympic Stadium. The big question was, could he keep that track speed up over a much longer distance? The course would take the athletes around central London. They started with a small loop of just over 2 miles or 3.5 kilometres, which started at the Mall near Buckingham Palace. Then they would move on to 3 laps of a larger loop of 8 miles or 13 kilometres, the larger loop taking the racers past St Paul's Cathedral and the Tower of London. Early on, Masazumi Soejima of Japan led the pack. He was one of the real contenders for the gold medal. He was one of the few athletes involved in the race who had managed to complete a marathon in under 1 hour and 19 minutes in the past. And that was much faster than Weir had ever managed. Although that wasn't really a fair comparison because that time was set on the downhill course in Boston. Weir was biding his time in the pack, sitting in the slipstream of other wheelchairs, even though the lead rotated around him. Weir was part of a group of 6 athletes who broke away early on in the race. He was joined in that group by the likes of Marcel Hugh of Switzerland, Kirk Fearnley of Australia, out in front here, and Nobukazu Hanaoka and Kota Hokanui of Japan. Tomasz Hamalak of Poland also joined the breakaway pack. Those 6 were content to sit together for long spells of the race. They enjoyed a lead of more than 30 seconds over the rest of the competitors, and all the while they were helping each other maintain a steady pace. The course took the athletes past Buckingham Palace. Fearnley was the leader as they reached the 20-kilometre mark. The other athletes were keeping a close eye on Fearnley. They were well aware of his experience. After all, he had won this event in Athens in 2004 and in Beijing in 2008. Fearnley was also one of the few athletes involved in the race who had been under 1 hour and 19 minutes in the past. The lead continued to rotate as the athletes passed the Tower of London for the second time. And going along the River Thames, with the end in sight, all of the athletes in the leading pack started to accelerate. All the while, Weir was keeping behind the leaders, saving his energy. As they came to Parliament Square for the last time, it was Hanaoka of Japan leading the leading group, with Fearnley just behind, Weir well placed as well. They came to Trafalgar Square with Fearnley out in front. And with just over 6 miles to go, Fearnley was leading the pack of 7. The medals would certainly go to athletes in this pack. They passed St Paul's Cathedral, and as they reached the Tower of London hairpin for the last time, it was Marcel Hugh of Switzerland out in front. The leaders began to accelerate with the finish in sight, and in a frantic end, sprint speed was always going to prove crucial. Weir, being urged on by noisy local support, managed to cross the line first. 1 hour, 30 minutes and 20 seconds his winning time. 4 gold medals for the British athletes in London. Second place went to Hugh of Switzerland, and third to Kurt Fearnley of Australia. There were several experienced athletes competing in the women's marathon T54 classification, and they included the reigning champion in this event, Edith Wolff from Switzerland, who won the gold medal in Beijing. Tatyana Mcfadden was competing for the United States. She'd already won 3 gold medals and a bronze on the track. Just like David Weir, she was trying to convert sprint speed into marathon glory. She led the entire field for the first 10 kilometres, but then she was swallowed up by the chasing pack. Amanda McGrory, another United States athlete, took the lead for a while. Sandra Graf of Switzerland also moved to the front, although she would move back down the field later on. And Great Britain's Shelley Woods was also part of the pack consistently. She would finish in the medals. Shirley Riley, though, turned out to be the athlete everybody had to keep an eye on. At the 30-kilometre mark, it was Graf who was out in front, but she was biding her time. The leading group numbered 7 riders up to the halfway mark, but then Edith Wolff of Switzerland, who had won a gold medal, 2 silvers and a bronze on the track, pulled out of the race. And that left a group of 6 in with a realistic chance of taking the gold medal. The group of 6 at the front: Christy Dawes, Wakako Tsushida, Amanda McGrory, Sandra Graf, Shelley Woods and Shirley Riley, who competed in the T53 classification. On paper, Riley was only the 3rd fastest athlete in the field. Wakako Tsushida of Japan was capable of going faster, and so too Amanda McGrory, another competitor from the United States. And as the athletes entered the final kilometre, it came down to a sprint finish. Shirley Riley of the United States had the most strength left after more than 1 hour and 40 minutes of fierce competition. She crossed the finish line first in 1 hour, 46 minutes and 33 seconds. Shelley Woods of Great Britain was second in 1:46.34, Graf of Switzerland third in 1:46.35, and Wolff failed to finish. In the men's marathon T12 classification, the gold medal went to Alberto Suarez Lasso of Spain. And in the men's marathon T46 class, the gold went to Tito Senna of Brazil.